What's going on, everybody? It's Natasha Watkins, your favorite realtor, and I have a special guest today. You want to introduce yourself to the people?
Yes, my name is Felicia, aka your favorite home agent.
Yeah, so we have two favorites in the room today. I don't know who's trying to bite off of who, but we're not going to even go there. We're not going to go there at all. So today we have a special show for you. We're going to go into a little bit of a deep dive, and hopefully Felicia will be joining me a little bit more often, just to get a different perspective, on what's going on in these real estate streets out here. So you want to tell them a little bit about yourself?
Oh, so I wasn't expecting this introduction.
We want everybody to know who you are, how amazing you are.
No, that's great. So my name is Felicia. I'm a realtor. I service the five boroughs and Long Island, except for Manhattan. I will definitely recommend a good agent if you need somebody in Manhattan. I've been in real estate for about 2 years now, and I'm actually retired from the NYPD. So.
Yes, yes. She used to protect and serve. That's amazing. That's amazing. What brought you into real estate?
Just, I decided to take the leap of faith on myself, and I still believe in helping people. It's just in a much different way. So.
Awesome. Yes. So without further ado, let's get into the show. We're going to go into a little bit of a deep dive. We're going to talk a little bit about first-time home buyer challenges in terms of what people are expecting. So we know what everyone says. We know what NAR says. What do you think are some of the challenges right now for first-time buyers?
Affordability, definitely. I would say is probably the number one challenge right now that a lot of home buyers are facing, especially first-time home buyers.
Yeah, definitely. I would have to agree with that, and then I would have to touch on that as well and say a little bit of this inventory shortage as well, which plays into the affordability, doesn't it? That plays a lot into that affordability because if there's a lot of competition in the market at the particular time and point, and there's not enough homes, that just drives up the price. Yeah.
Correct.
All right. So what NAR is saying that the most difficult steps of the home buying process right now, 53% of it right now is finding the right property. And again, that goes into the inventory rate that's going on right now, which the low inventory. And I think that has to do with a little bit as well with these interest rates that these people had in the past 2 years were so low that I find a lot of sellers are afraid to sell their home because one, they feel that they won't find anything out there, and two, they feel like the interest rates, they won't be able to get that again. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely true. However, there are definitely some options that you can do, especially as a seller. You can always pull the equity out of your house and
Yeah, that's a good point.
go purchase something else,
Yeah.
and then you can refinance later on. So there's different things that you can do, but there is some hope on the horizon. Interest rates are starting to come down, so
Yeah,
it's
they're
a good
pulling back
sign.
a little bit. Yep. So 18% is the paperwork. 17% understanding the process step by step. 17% saving for the down payment, and 8% is actually getting the mortgage, which is interesting. I think this is where a good agent comes in. The third one, just understanding the process and having someone like Felicia out there who service all five boroughs, explaining it to you and actually literally holding your hands and walking you through the process. I think that's big as well. All right. First time home buyer challenge. Again, we're looking at pretty much the same thing, just finding the right home and then going through that process as well. Medium down payment, first time home buyers 8%, first time home buyers, all home buyers 15%, and then 19% repeat home buyers. So basically just breaking down how the people are buying, how it's distributed in the last couple of years, how it's being broken down. So that's pretty self-explanatory.
And this makes a lot of sense, right? Because as a first-time home buyer, it's really hard to save for a down payment.
Exactly.
However, when you buy your first one and you're building your assets, you can now leverage that first property to then have a higher down payment on another property and purchase your next one.
Yeah, I was reading an article and we were talking about, people, the baby boomers and the Gen Xers, they were able to buy their home at an affordable price. And over the last 52 years, even over the last 3 years, we saw that huge increase in equity in the properties. And I'm not sure if you've seen it out when you're out and about, but I've seen a lot of buyers that are coming out with all cash nowadays.
It's true.
And what's happening is they're selling that initial home and they're not worrying about that interest rates, because what they can do is they can take most of that, the equity that they've got in their home, and put down a huge down payment. All right. And that goes right into where we're talking about right now from realtalk.com. Fewer homes for sales mean more competition, which leads to higher down payment as buyers utilize the pandemic era savings to win multiple bid scenarios. High mortgage rates also drove buyers to consider a larger down payment. And that's pretty much what we were just saying, that, with the equity that they have in their home right now, that people are able to put down a larger down payment. Have you been seeing the same thing with your clients?
Yeah, I mean, that was the talk amongst a lot of homeowners. They're like, where's everybody getting this cash from? And the equity is one, and I know we're going to talk about some other ways that people are getting more cash to put down on the homes to kind of counter those interest rates. So yeah, a lot more cash.
Definitely. Awesome. All right, so today's medium down payment is much lower than you think, what most people think.
There's a misconception on
yes,
this.
Sir. So most people think that you need 20% to buy a home. What do you say to that?
That is absolutely false. You do not need 20% for a down payment. As a matter of fact, you can put as low as 3.5% to 5% if you go FHA, which I know you wanted to speak about as well.
Yeah, but we want to add a caveat to it as well, because most people, they hear the 3.5%. What they don't realize is there's a slight penalty to that as well. The 3.5% comes with what we call PMI, which is principal mortgage insurance. What that means is that the bank sees that you're paying down less than the 20%. So they want to kind of protect themselves. So what they do is they put in this PMI, which you pay every month. But the good thing is, once you reach 20% equity, you can refinance out of that PMI and bring down your monthly payment. Also, especially if you buy a home that it needs a little bit of work. We have a little bit of what you call forced equity as well, because what happens is when they go out and they appraise the home after you've done your renovations, that brings up the value of the home, and then you can refinance out of that PMI as well. So when we look at it, first-time home buyers, which is 8%, all home buyers are putting down about 15% on average. And the misconception is that you have to put down that 20%, And
I love that you mentioned that little hack about getting the PMI off. But something also to keep in mind is that your down payment is separate from your closing costs.
Yes, that's a good one. I almost forgot about that.
Yeah.
100%.
So, you have to consider that as well. You need your down payment. And I think my lender friends out there would probably agree. We say anywhere from 3 to 6% of the purchase price, and those closing costs are going to be the fees that are associated with purchasing a home. So definitely something to keep in mind.
Yeah, I always just say 6%. I just go.
I mean, it's better to be on the safe side. Yes,
I'd say 6% and just leave it at that, because I like when they come back and they have a little bit of extra money. You want to buy some new furniture or anything like that as well. And then also, I think what people don't understand is that depending on the home, and this market has kind of changed up a little bit as well, where although there's not as many homes on the market, some people have been priced out of the market as well. So it brought down a little bit of that competition. So now you have the option to do what we call a seller's concession.
I knew you were going there. I was
you
waiting
did?
to see if you were going to say it.
You want to tell them a little bit about a seller's concession?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically just, a credit that the seller is basically giving you towards the closing costs just to kind of help you out as far as, if you don't have all the funds to come up with. But
Mm-hmm,
I would
mm-hmm.
definitely speak to, your realtor because every market is different, every
100%.
situation is different. With interest rates coming down, the sellers are gonna start having the upper hand in this market. So, just stay close to your realtor, stick to them for guidance on what's the best, option and the best offer, right?
Yeah,
Because that's going to
100%.
depend.
Yeah, that's definitely going to depends as well. But the good thing, we're not in that market where we were before, where like everything is going $50,000 to $100,000 over asking. You have a little bit of leeway. It's not back to where we were pre-pandemic, where houses are in the market a little bit longer. it the length of time on the market has increased a bit, but not by much. But you still have that opportunity to negotiate a little bit as well. Like we just did this deal. We went on a contract last week with a
Congrats.
seller. Oh, thank you, thank you. We offered 600,000, and what we did is we did 14,000 seller's concession. And what
Nice.
they're doing with that 14,000 is they're going to use that money to buy down those interest rates as well. So
That's awesome.
there's a bunch of different options, and that's why you work with someone like Felicia, because she can walk you through all those different options
and
as well.
yourself, and
Thank you,
yourself, of
thank you.
course.
But
We're a team here.
yeah, yeah, I'm shouting you out because everybody
I
knows.
I love it. Thank you.
Amazing. No worries, no worries. So I think we are at the last slide as well. Actually, I think we missed one. First time home buyer down payment. So this is basically 16% of the people are putting down 0%. 22% are putting down 1 to 5%. And I think a lot of the 16% have to be not Navy Federal, military, you know.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Or some kind of down payment assistance
A hundred
program.
percent, 100%, yeah. And there are programs out there that will help you with that down payment. I think FHA does some great job. And touch base with your real estate agent to introduce you to a good lender. And that's one of the things that you have to have as part of your team as well, is a great agent and a good lender. One, a great agent because we're able to negotiate, and two, a great lender who is able to find you those programs to get you the money that you need.
And who knows how to structure the deal according to your specific situation.
100%, 100%. So 22% is doing 1 to 5% down payment. 16% is doing 6 to 10. 20% is doing 11 to 20. And then 26% is doing more than 20%. I actually had a client a couple of months ago who did 50% down.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
that's that's wonderful. And it just goes back to what we were saying, like out of this whole graph that we're looking at here, the majority of people purchasing homes is
Are doing
still
less.
doing more than 20% of
Mm-hmm,
a down
mm-hmm,
payment.
mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
I know people are probably wondering how. So I know we're about to get into it
Yes,
right
let's
now.
talk about it. Let's talk about it. We're talking about people that are doing how they're getting this money. So it's breaking down. A lot of people are getting it from their savings. This is the biggest part, that past home equity. That's really, really big. Because you think about homes bought within the last couple of years before the pandemic. I saw a chart that said that we saw about 57% equity increase over the last 3 years. You know how huge that is?
And that is really important because everybody says the market's going to crash, the market's going to crash. It's like, well, how is it going to crash if people have all this equity
Mm-hmm.
locked up into their homes?
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to see that crash like everybody was hoping
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
because of all this equity. And we know that the home prices continue to rise year
Mm-hmm,
over
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
year.
Yeah, and it just goes back to the first thing that we were talking about earlier. There's just not enough inventory to support a crash as well. So I think those go hand in hand. The fact that people have so much equity in their home, and the fact that there's just no inventory. Those prices just don't have a chance to come down. And I think as well that there's a lot more people who are working from home, and they're opting to do that home office as well. Okay.
And mortgage companies now, they're willing to work with you to save your home. Like they don't want to see people losing their homes. Lending standards have gotten more strict. So it's really, I don't foresee a crash coming.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. So I think that's basically pretty much it for today, in terms of the market report. We're keeping it simple. Uh, to my guest, Felicia. No worry.
Spotlight on me over
Yes,
here.
ma'am.
Okay.
Hey, they want to hit you where we'll put your social media in the comments and everything like that. This is Latasha Watkins, your favorite realtor, and we will see you next Monday. Peace.